Today is a pretty exciting day. If you watched my video yesterday, I basically almost spilled the beans and didn't even want to wait for this video. But as promised, I'm coming out with this video. It has more details, information. That way we can put it all together and I will get to tell you everything that I know. So let's get into it. So first off, just a very quick summary in case there are people watching this and they did not watch any of the Monica Sementilli murder trial. Monica, her lover, Robert Baker, and a third party was all charged with murder of Fabio Sementilli, her husband. Now what makes it interesting is the trial started and ended almost 8 years after the murder. Robert Baker already pled no contest. He's in prison for life. Monica was just found guilty. She's in prison for life. And the third person, it took the police almost 6 years to be able to find out who that third person, if there was one. But they did. So 6 years after the murder, Christopher Austin ended up being arrested. But the interesting thing is, Christopher Austin has quite a backstory with Robert Baker. And he also went on the stand at Monica Sementilli's trial and he went against her. And so we're going to be jumping into some of those things that we had questions about during the trial and more. Chris has two other siblings, a brother and sister. I might be a little off with that. There might be another one. But from what I could tell, I saw two others. So I'm sticking with that. I could not find much on his mom, but I did see a little bit for his dad, and his dad is still in the Carolinas. I do not think his mom and dad are together. His family is from the East Coast, but it's very interesting because Chris, during high school, lived with Baker for all of high school. And Chloe personally thinks it was from that Baker began to maybe groom or start to do these mind games, something. But she thinks that was going on while he was still young. You know, this guy is basically an uncle to him, if not closer. Although Chris says that there was no favor, he wasn't forced to do it, there wasn't anything like that, but that it took all of this to really fundamentally be able to take a look at Robert Baker and realize all of either the lies or horrible conduct. And I think I liken it to a parent situation because they always say growing up, you look at your parents as if they're superheroes or the perfect, the best things ever. And then you grow up and you realize that they have so many flaws and there's so many things they're dealing with. So I think Chris is kind of getting in that phase, realizing that how he viewed Robert Baker is not how he should be viewed. He definitely, in some of these cases, was a major predator. And I agree. I think he definitely used Chris. I think it sounds like he used a lot of people in life in general. So I'm going to go and read over most of our text messages. I'll skip the ones of me writing her and her planning and asking Chris. We'll go from after that. So if you didn't know, she was dating Chris when this all went down. He told her a lie. He knew why he was going to California for Baker, but he didn't tell her that. They had been dating at that time. After the murder, they got married and had a baby and then arrested. So it's definitely like boom, boom, boom. And she is a nurse and her family unit seems to be very, very tight. She was describing just how great her family is, and they're really pulling things together for her and helping to take care of her baby, all the things, because what a crazy situation, right, for her. They are still married. She is not separating or divorcing him or anything. Okay, so as I said, one of her responses was going over why he thinks it would be a bad idea to do an interview. And it makes sense. She was saying that he had just gotten out of a previous relationship she had been cheating. Chris was like torn apart, brokenhearted, really struggling in that. He and Chloe had not been dating very long when this all happened. On top of that, he was having a hard time paying bills. It was just all probably closing in around him, I think. That's kind of the view I'm getting from it. That it was just very bad. Everything closing in, making poor decisions was probably just because of his mental state of all the things. And so the struggling with money makes sense because what I have seen that Chris was up to was we already knew he was a correctional officer, but he also was doing music on the side, and he is a singer. And, that's not only fun, but also it was in hopes just to get some extra money flowing in because he was concerned that he didn't have enough for everything.
Goodbye. They gained a lot when they left me.
At some point, he was either living at his friends on the couch or he was sleeping in a car. And so there was a lot of things going on at that time. Now, when I came across this, I had the thought of, well, that didn't age well. And I stick with that. Did not age well. However, Chloe said that their families have all really gotten tighter and closer together. And so they are 110% supporting him. And if anything, it made the relationships stronger. If there's a silver lining, it would be that. Now, she doesn't know this, but she actually said something that really rang a bell for me. I have constantly said during trials, life in general, that one of the scariest types of people that there are people who do not have anything to lose. And she was saying that's how he was manipulated, and that was a father figure, and so it just all was stacking up for him in a bad way. But that could not be truer. We talk about the different types of people that do these crimes and have no remorse or don't even think about it. It's almost like they're detached from being human and having those feelings of not doing harm to others and stuff. And in this case, Robert Baker did not give a crap about anything. Unlike Chris, where we saw he was crying, he got suicidal during this. It was a just horrible time for him. Now, I don't say any of this to negate what he has done. Obviously, what he did is horrible and horrendous, and it should have never, ever happened. But we are just breaking down a little bit more of things about him because we didn't know. We don't know some of these things. She ended it saying, "Thank you for being one of the more normal people to reach out to her." I wanted to say the same thing because, who knows how people are going to react to this type of message. Sarah Boone didn't take well to it, that's for sure. I think I'm still a little scarred over that. But yeah, I was appreciative that she was normal about it as well, and that she even got some of the answers for us since we had been wondering. So wrapping it up, this is the prison that Chris is in. We know that he and Baker are not at the same prison. So they will not see each other. There's no contact, nothing. I hope that you were able to see at least one thing that you didn't know before. Now I'm going to end this video with a cliffhanger. Christopher posted this to his social media account just a few months before he went to prison. It doesn't tag anybody or say anything, but I have a guess as to who he may be talking about.